Grand Rising all. It is Sunday. I did not make a video yesterday. I had to do something that I have not done in probably in over 30 years. I had to wash clothes by hand. Ooh, I was tired yesterday, so I didn't make a video. But I'm here today. So we're going to talk a little bit about staying at 109 East 26th Street, Paterson, New Jersey. Staying there was interesting. The abuse got worse and it changed. I told you how he had me locked in the closet, but then it was the basement for me. I preferred the basement because at least I could walk around down there, but of course the spiders were ridiculous. Um, Staying with him at that house was interesting because back in the 70s, making $250,000 a year, you were rich. And that's what my dad made. He made $250,000 a year. He worked at Whitco Chemical. It was a chemical place down on, I think that was 4th Avenue. I can't remember the street. 23rd Street and 4th Avenue, I think. It's not there anymore, but he worked in a chemical plant. They made like detergent and cleaning supplies and things like that. He was a foreman. So he made really good money. Now, with all the abuse that was going on, interestingly enough, um, our neighbors next door was Miss Hattie and Mr. Willis. Mr. William, not Willis, Mr. William, and they were, friendly with him. Not too many people were friendly with him on the block. Mr. William especially, the people on the block thought he was kind of crazy, a little off. Come to find out, he had a plate in his head. Now, in my head as a child, I'm literally thinking he had like a plate you eat dinner off of on his head. But I don't know how or why he had the plate in his head. But he was a nice man. He was a nice man. Um, and he asked my dad if he gave me an allowance. And my dad said no. And he asked him why. Everybody knew how much he made because he loved to tell people. Um, and so my dad started giving me allowance. So I was 9 years old for sure. I know that for a fact. And I was in the third grade. Because remember, he left me out for a year. So I was in the third grade. Guess how much I got for an allowance in the third grade at 9 years old? $100 a week. I got $100 a week. As long as he wasn't mad at me, I got $100 a week. And I got $500 every 2 months for clothing. Again, as long as he wasn't mad at me, which was a lot, but yeah, $100 a week in the third grade. What do you think I bought with $100 a week in the third grade? Boy, I was everybody's best friend, but nobody's friend. You know what I mean? Because the kids didn't like me for me. They liked me because I had money and I didn't know what to do with it. So, yeah, they'd meet me at the store and I'd buy up everybody some candy. I still got, man, back in the day, candy was cheap, cheap. Chips and things, they were cheap, cheap. So I could spend 20, $30 at the store with all my classmates and still got plenty of money left over. Man, it was crazy. But anywho, um, that was crazy. $100 a week. But yeah, he bought me. So back in the day, J.C. Penney's was a big deal if you shopped at J.C. Penney, and my dad always shopped at J.C. Penney, so everybody thought, I wore the finest clothes. I always had money. Trying to tell people that you were being abused, not being fed, and things like that, they didn't believe me. Like, they were just like, there is no way your father dress you, your daddy would dress you like this, and you have all this money, but he's abusing you. They didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. Do you know how confused I was growing up? I didn't know if I was coming or going, literally. I mean, because one minute he's mad at me and I'm stuck in the basement, not eating for days. And another minute I'm at the mall buying up everything and anything because I got all this money. I was strange. I was strange as a kid. Um, like I said, we lived on 26th Street, between 5th and 4th Avenue. And Fifth Ave projects, when people went to school, they literally had to walk past my house. So for the most part, they would walk past my house. And there would be times where I didn't go to school because I didn't have a good attendance at school because sometimes I have black eyes and he didn't want nobody to see them. So I didn't go. Or I was being punished, and he would do things like, and if anybody from the Fifth Ave projects remember the girl that lived in that yellow and brown house, whose dad used to make her go outside and use her toothbrush to clean the porch. Yeah, that was me. Or who would make me stand outside, and he literally would wait until he knew those kids were walking by. He'd make me stand outside on one leg. Yeah, I got teased a lot. And then he got to the point where he would pay them $20 a week to beat me up. Yeah, I'm not lying. $20 a week he would give them. In the 70s, $20 a week? Oh, we gonna whoop her butt every day we see her. And it got to the point where the school got involved because they're like, this is ridiculous. Now, I didn't tell why they were beating me up, and the kids didn't say anything either. You know, I got tired of getting beat up at home for telling what was going on in my house. So I didn't say anything. I was just getting beat up every day, and they just couldn't figure out why. Man, it would be gangs of them just jumping me because they wanted their money. And he'd literally stand outside and get him $20. Did you beat her up? Did you get her good? Did you punch her in the face? You know, stuff like that. And as a child, you know, I'm just like, I can't win for losing. Like, this man is, he hates me. That is what I'm thinking. This man absolutely hates me. And now I'm just like, I get beat up at home and I have no peace. Now I'm going to school and I have no peace. I'm getting really angry. I'm becoming so angry that I'm ready to kill people. And that is literally the thought I had. I wanted to kill people. I wanted you to leave me alone. And if I have to kill you to do it, then so be it. Then so be it. Because I couldn't win. I couldn't beat them up because it would be too many of them. It would be so many of them. My gosh, it was ridiculous. It got to the point, like I said, the school got involved because they're like, this is ridiculous. And they called them and they're like, look, she's being jumped every day. I had teachers that would let me leave early. I told you I could run and I could run fast, but I had to get a head start. Like, I had to get out there because they would chase me. And man, I was fed up. I gotten so fed up. Teachers would let me leave early so that I could leave. Some teachers would hold them back so that I can get a head start so I can get home. It was crazy. It was crazy living at that in that house, man. It was crazy. It got so bad. Check this out. It got so bad that he paid this man named, well, he wasn't a man. His name was Bruce. He was in the 8th grade. He paid Bruce $50, if I'm not mistaken. It was $50 or $100 a week to protect me from the bullies that were beating me up. It's like, but you started this. You started it. And now you want them to stop and they don't want to stop because they want to get paid. It's like, you started this mess. Now you want it to stop. So yeah, Bruce used to walk me to and from school and get paid to do it. And if Bruce is still out there, hey, Bruce. Yeah. Living with that man was crazy. And so the person that I became growing up was rough. Like, I was crazy, you know, and I literally thought I was crazy. I started stabbing people. I would be at school and I would pick up the first thing I could find, and it seemed to always be a pair of scissors near me. And I would go after people with scissors, chairs, whatever. Get away from me and leave me alone. So now I'm the crazy girl. I'm crazy. I'm crazy. Nobody sees what's happening to me. Nobody cares what's happening to me. No, nobody cared. No one cared at all. So I was the crazy girl. Oh, stay away from her. She's crazy. I'm crazy. Well, I took on that crazy persona for years, many, many years. Um, I felt like if I'm crazy, people stay away from me. So I would do the damnedest things to make sure people would stay away from me. And I did that until I became an adult. Like I was like that until I was an adult. I used to do things to people also. Like I became a bully. I became a bully. It was crazy. I would do stuff to people. And I feel terrible about it today. But yeah, I became what I didn't like. I didn't know what to do with myself. Like I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to think. And the whole time, I just felt like it was my fault. It was my fault. All of this is my fault. Standing outside on my one leg on the front porch and having these kids to stand out there and laugh. And he would come to the door and he'd laugh with them. I felt like I had no one. No one. I couldn't get back to North Carolina so I could be with my grandparents. I had no one. And he made sure of that. He made sure I had no one. Then I started getting in trouble at school. And then he talked about me to people, whoever he was on the phone with. Yeah, this stupid B, she doing this in school. She doing that in school. Sir, I'm doing it because of you. Like all of this is your fault. But I didn't think that way. Like I'm thinking all of this is my fault, you know? And for, oh, I don't know, many years, I tried to figure out ways to end my life. I didn't want to live anymore. I got tired of living. I got tired of living because it was like no one cared about me. No one cared at all. And so why am I here? Like I don't want to be here anymore. I just want to leave this earth and never come back. Like I don't, I used to want to, I didn't want to do it in a way that was going to be painful. I just wanted to go to sleep and not wake up. I was being hurt enough. I didn't want to hurt myself to go to die. Or be unalived rather. I just wanted to go to sleep and not wake up anymore. But I kept waking up and I hated it. I hated it. And I started hating anything that moved. I was just mean. I was mean. I was mean. I was so mean. I was mean to people that didn't even deserve it. But I couldn't stop it. I couldn't control it. I repent from all of that, because when I would be alone, I would just cry because I didn't want to be that way. I didn't like being that way. But I didn't know how else to be. I really didn't. It was so rough growing up. It was my torture place, that house, that 109 East 26th Street. It was the torture zone. I hated that house. I hated him. I used to try to do stuff to him. I didn't want to kill him. I'm sorry. I didn't want to unalive him. I just wanted him to hurt like I was being hurt. I'd spit in his food. I, I'm embarrassed for the things that I used to do. I'm ashamed of the things that I used to do because it wasn't me. Like, it really wasn't me. I felt possessed. I really did. I felt absolutely possessed. But like I always say, I don't want these videos to be too long. Have an amazing day. I pray you spend time with the Most High. Read His Word. He left it for you. He left it for us so that we know how to live. If you are ever looking for a pastor that can teach you about the Word, Pastor Kofi, look him up under hashtag Find Kofi, Kofi. He's an amazing man. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful preacher and teacher. Awesome father. Amazing husband. He will never steer you wrong. Check him out. You won't be disappointed. Sorry. Well, you have a great day. Shalom, family.